Welcome to the Recon Trader. In today's video, I will share with you my top secret weapon for finding profitable crypto trading pairs when deploying a grid bot on a platform like Bitsgap. And by the end of the video, I will actually deploy a grid bot on Bitsgap based on my recon and the theory that that coin is ready to produce good grid bot profit. Now, before we get too far into the weeds, if you're not familiar with how a grid bot operates, it's actually really basic. A grid bot buys when the price is going down and sells when the price is going up. So it basically buys low and sells high. And one of the main features of a profitable grid bot is volatility. You are looking for choppy price action where the price is dipping down and ripping back up, and thus giving the bot the opportunity to buy low on multiple occasions while selling high on each rip back up towards the top side. And so something I'm looking for is not just sideways moving price action. I'm also looking for something that is slightly trending upwards. As you can see from the example on the screen, the price action is extremely choppy. However, it is somewhat trading in a zone, but it is slightly trending towards the top side. And with all these factors combined, the price is ripping down through the green lines. Now, these green lines on the grid are open limit buy orders. And then when a price rips back up, it then sells or hits these red lines and takes out the open limit sell order. So again, volatility is really a key factor when it comes to deploying a grid bot. And that is precisely what my secret weapon is able to detect based on the ATR, also known as average true range indicator. And in this case, I actually have configured this particular indicator over on TradingView to measure that volatility as a percentage rather than, say, a dollar amount as is traditional for the ATR, average true range indicator. And you can see the columns down at the bottom of the chart. That is the measurement in a percentage, anywhere from 0 to 100. And the red columns would be considered low volatility, blue would be moderate, the yellow would be medium, and then the green would be considered high volatility. And what I'm looking for is something that is perhaps in the yellow or definitely in the green zone for volatility. And for me, that would be an ideal target to deploy a grid bot on. And so for a little more information about how I designed this particular indicator over on TradingView and how I kind of use it, we can see that the average true range ATR indicator is a technical analysis indicator designed to measure volatility. The higher the ATR, the higher the volatility. And again, you want that high volatility when deploying a grid bot. And the way this indicator is set up is that it will calculate the average true range as a percentage, as I mentioned earlier. And the suggested time frames are going to be your 1 hour, 4 hour, and your daily charts. For the most part, for me, I'm looking at daily charts, and that would be for longer term grid bots. If you're looking for short term grid bots, you might want to drop down to the 1 hour time frame. However, useful intel can be found on even lower time frame charts, just depending on your strategy. Now, it is important to note that the ATR indicator does not indicate what direction the price is actually moving. You can have high volatility in a rising market. You can also have extremely high volatility in a falling market. So it is not a trend-based indicator. And so it should really only be used as a volatility indicator. Now, with that all being said, let's take a look at a chart for Cosmos, or the Atom token, and I'm going to be taking a look at the daily chart for the Atom token, and you can see the ATR indicator down here towards the bottom of the screen. And right now the Cosmos Atom token is seeing a lot of volatility, and so as you can see from the chart, these larger candles on a daily basis produce more volatility. And if we jump back over here to how a grid bot actually operates, those larger candles are going to produce more buy and sell opportunities, and thus, in theory, more profit. So you're looking for those big daily candles so you can get more buy and sell opportunities, thus producing more profit. But if we just look back and check our 6 back here with these red columns, you can see very small candles. You're going to have a lot less grid action with these smaller daily candles. But when we see the volatility start to pick up and we get these bigger candles, you can see the correlation down here with the ATR indicator. Now, this is a lagging indicator, and you can see where these smaller daily candles start to get bigger. It does take a few of the columns to catch up to that higher volatility. So in reality, you might actually look for the opportunity to deploy a grid bot when you start seeing the volatility go from red to, say, blue, or maybe blue to yellow. That will be completely up to your battle plan. Now, another insider tip that I look for besides just this volatility is I'm looking for price action, again, that is chopping pretty much between a zone. You can see two levels dropped in here with the yellow lines. I have 45 marking the high level, and I have 20 marking the lower level. And when you set up a grid bot, you're going to set a higher limit and a lower limit. And in this case, looking at this particular chart, I would set my lower limit down here around 20, which would be prior support. And I would set my higher limit up here around the 45 level if I was to deploy a bot on this particular pair, and that would be previous resistance. And since I do have the volatility and I have pretty good chop between support and resistance, another factor I'm looking for is the price to be slightly trending up. And the price is slightly trending up. If I go back and look, we do have a slight trend up. And then the last factor is I typically look for this price to be somewhere in the middle of my zone. So somewhere in between the middle of 20 and 45 would be ideal. However, right now that price is a little above the middle of that zone. So let's see if we can't find a better target. All right, so if we jump over here to Luna on the one-day chart, you can see once again I have my upper and lower levels drawn in at 38 and 100. Luna is definitely trending up, and we can see an extended period of volatility on the ATR indicator. And for my strategy, anything that is yellow or green, that to me would indicate higher volatility. And if we look back, you can see we came out of the green into the yellow, and we're just starting to come back into the green, higher volatility. And with this price action trending up, we are seeing a good amount of chop in the price action. And if it bounces back up towards the top side here, we could then perhaps see another push back down, or we could continue to sell off and then get our bounce back towards the top side. Either way, that would fit within my resistance and support levels, along with the higher volatility that Luna has been seeing for just about 2 months now. And the price action does fall pretty much in the middle of this zone, and if it's a little below, that would actually be better. And so Luna would be an excellent target for one of my strategies. Now, Luna is a coin I'm willing to hold long term. Luna is a coin I day trade. I realize there might be more profitable opportunities on some of the crap coins out there, but I don't trade crap coins, so I'm not looking for those huge percentages that you might get off of a crap coin. I'm looking for good volatility along with a coin that if everything goes foobar, I'd be willing to hold this coin long term if that actually happened. Now that we have a couple targets identified, let's jump over here to Bitsgap and get a grid bot deployed. So the first thing I need to do is come over here to Start New Bot, give that a click, and I'm going to be deploying an S bot, so I just go ahead and give that a click. Next, I need to select my exchange, and in this case, I am going to select KuCoin. Then I need to select the pair, and while any one of those three targets, Atom, Matic, or Luna, would be valid targets, I am going to go with Luna, USDT. Now I need to decide how much ammo I'm going to give this bot, and in this case, I'm going to give this bot 500 USDT, and then I need to determine my lower and my upper price. Now, on a larger scale, the upper price was around 100 and the lower price was around 38, I believe. However, since Bitsgap offers trailing up and trailing down, which I will enable, I can actually tighten that range up. I don't have to have such a big range, because if the price does go above my higher price limit, trailing up will follow that price action up, And on the flip side, it will follow the price action down, so I can bring my lower limit up into one of these support levels that we see on the chart currently. So the first thing I'll do is I'll drag my upper limit down into prior resistance, which will be around 70 USDT, and then I'll drag the lower price limit up into prior support back here around 55 USDT, and I can actually come over here and dial those in right to 55 and 70, and that will tighten my grid up. Now I need to select my grid step, and in this case I am going to start with 70 as far as my grid step goes, which would give me 35 grid levels. And again, I have trailing up enabled and trailing down enabled. Now if you enable trailing down, it's important to note you will need funds available on your exchange in addition to your $500 initial investment. If the price drops down below your lower level and it trails that price down, you'll need funds on your exchange for it to tap into to continue to buy at a lower price. And then to stop that trailing down, that's currently set at 26, and I will drop that down to 25, and that will stop it at about a 54% drop. Again, Luna is a coin I'm willing to hold long term, 2-3 years if need be. If you're looking more short term, you may not want to do that. If you're trading crap coins that may not be around in 2 months from now, you definitely may not want to let this price drop too far. But with that all being said, I'm ready to give this a back test, so I just click back test. And as you can see, the results are not terrible. Over a 30-day period, the results would be 22% profit. Now, first of all, it's important to remember, backtest results do not guarantee future results, but I still find them useful when configuring a grid bot. Now, something else I can change is the trading fee. I will not pay 0.1%. I actually pay 0.08% on Qcoin, so if I make that change, that will increase my profitability slightly. And so I gained about 1% profit simply by changing the trading fee. And in reality, it's still pretty decent profit considering the overall market is bearish right now. But again, you have to remember Luna was trending slightly upwards, so that would be one of the reasons it would perform better than a lot of the coins that are actually bearish right now. Now, we can make a couple of adjustments, and you can sit here and adjust this all day long till you find your sweet spot. But let's just start, instead of 0.7, we'll go with 0.9 grid steps. That would give me 27 grids. And let's run the back test on those figures. All right, those results improved a little more. Now we're at about 25% over a 30-day period. What I typically shoot for in a bullish market, if you've watched enough of my videos, you know I would shoot for around 1% profit per day. But that's in a bullish market. In a bearish market, if I can get anywhere between 0.5% to 1% profit per day, I'd be perfectly happy in a bearish market. And in reality, we're actually pretty close to that 1%. So I'm pretty good with these settings. I'm actually ready to deploy this bot. So I just come down here to preview, give that a click. I can quickly preview all the settings. Bot type is SBot, exchange Qcoin, pair Luna USDT. The profit for this bot will be captured in USDT. My grid levels are 27 grid levels. My step, which is the spacing between the green lines and the red lines, and if you remember, the green lines represent open limit buy orders and the red lines open limit sell orders. The spacing between each one of these grids is going to be 0.9%. My high price I set at 70. I do have the trailing up mode enabled. My low price was 55 down here based on prior support, and I do have the trailing down feature enabled. And I basically have this bot to stop trailing down at 25. Now let's get this bot deployed. So I click confirm, and I get a note that it's necessary to buy a little bit of Luna. Again, if the price goes straight up from when I deploy this bot, it needs to hold some Luna to sell. So I'm perfectly fine with it buying. So yes, buy. Market order placed, market order filled. The bot is starting up. You can see the grid lines starting to populate the chart, and so these limit orders are being placed on my behalf, and depending on what direction the price action goes, those limit orders will eventually be filled either on the buy or sell side, again, depending on what direction this price goes from here. And that's it. my bot has started. I can click done. And now the bot is live and ready for some action. So if you like this video, do me a favor, spike a like. I will do an update on how this bot is performing in the future. So now would be a good time to shoot that subscribe button. If you have any questions or comments, drop them in the comment section down below. I will drop a link to Bitsgap in the description down below, along with a link to TradingView and the Recon ATR volatility indicator. I'll drop that in the description down below as well. So with that all being said, remember, never send your money into battle without first doing your recon. See you in the next video.